Now we are tackling an issue that you've been requested a while ago, and it's the question about silver. So when to transfer to silver cables, silver containing solder. Is it a better idea to start off with sticking to copper cables, or should you go right away into silver? So let's see the issue. So copper gives really comfortable sound. It does not really push the boundaries, push the limits. It's like a safety wheel on a bicycle, and every gear, basically, if you change its copper cable to a higher quality copper cable, it will keep you in the safe land. So there's a much less chance that you will go towards revealing something really nasty in one of your components in the system. So right away, my recommendation is that if you have a system now and you are a curious audiophile and want to make your system a little bit better, then stay with copper. However, if you think that you want to be part of a bigger journey, you see yourself that you will be expanding not just to a little bit better, but you see yourself as growing in the next couple of years, next decade, and you want to step up and up and up and up and up, then in that case I suggest that do not lose the safety wheel. Go for silver right away. Do not put more effort into sticking around with copper cables, trying out one after the other, because it will keep you stuck in a lower level. So you will get gear, equipment that is compatible with the copper sound, and then you will be restricted to equipment that have distortions that the copper safely covers, and you will not if you do this for the next 10 years, then during those 10 years you will not be weeding out components that have inherent distortion in the high frequencies, but you will probably end up with equipment that have a lot of hidden nasties in the high frequency domain and also at the low signal level domain. So let's see, what do I have? So I just made these slides maybe like 3 weeks ago already. I was just busy at work and didn't get to them, and I used the slides generally just as an idea, as a soundboard to what to say and for something for you to see if you are watching it. But rather I make my my sessions more like a podcast. I myself listen to YouTube videos when I'm driving to work, commuting, and I just have it in the background while I'm driving. I'm getting the information. So I also think that these videos are perfect. If you are commuting to work and you don't necessarily want to occupy your eyes, maybe you are driving, you have to watch the road. So that's what I do when I look at other YouTube channels who deal with stereo, and I really prefer those where even if they show some information on the screen, but you can hear the content. So let's just read what is here. So this is what I just said before, that basically if you stay with copper, then you will not be upping the quality of your components, because all of those tiny nitty-gritty parts, they remain hidden under the coverage of copper. And when this is something really important, I think that when you are looking online for advice on silver interconnect, silver stuff, then almost no one has substantial experience with silver. So most of the audiophiles, even those who are talking about, oh, I tried out this and that silver cable, they do not understand what silver does to the sound, and they do not understand what the performance level of the system, of the gear is, of the equipment is, where you are adding your silver cables to. So this results with a conventional wisdom that silver will give you a bright sound. But as I said before, it's not the silver that gives you the bright sound. The bright sound is already in your equipment, but copper is masking it. However, there's a lot of equipment, and not just vacuum tube, but solid state as well. It's regardless of the topology, that when you add silver instead of copper, you will unmask a tremendous extra detail level, but there will be no high frequency nasties coming up. But the vast majority of equipment, when you remove this layer of hiding, you will notice that there's tremendous amount of high frequency and low level mess that is part of the system. So I just share a funny story that my mentor, Stu, he just refused to sell anyone silver cables. He really made everyone stick to copper, and he said that only when you are at the last stages of your journey, that's when you are ready for silver. And of course he already knew the properties, the sonic properties of equipment, and he knew that what is the level when silver will be absolutely beneficial for you, but then it will be just blowing to the next level, like blowing your mind to the next level beyond what you thought was possible. However, I really cheated my way out of this situation, and I just, I was dabbling with my own silver cables, and I did not really buy any amplifiers or speakers in the beginning of my audio journey, and I just built my stuff, and I built my equipment so that they are high enough quality that they can play with silver cables. So that's my additional helping hand to everyone, is that when you go for silver, it's a really tough choice, because you are committing yourself to the very best that there is. And under the very best, I mean most stable designs, working amplifiers, and no high frequency distortion crap. And that, I would say, pretty much by default excludes all of solid state amplifiers. Sorry, I think I should have worn a safety helmet to protect myself from outcry and like really negative feedback, that probably I will be just murdered after this, that saying that basically all of the solid state amplifiers are off the board. But unfortunately, that's the sad reality. There are very few examples of solid state amps that can survive the silver treatment, and even those can barely pass. So Rishi was saying that there's a few Krell amps that he has heard which can satisfy music listener, but those were not the top Krell amps, and I don't know which models they were. And I know of two solid state amps that can do that. One of them is the Michael E, other is the Conrad Johnson 350, but that's it. I haven't heard any other one. It doesn't mean that they don't exist, but tough luck finding them. I can recommend Stereopolis's reviews. He's playing around with the high-end Yamaha amplifiers, and unfortunately I haven't heard any of them yet. I've heard only the entry-level Yamahas a really long time ago with really basic systems, but I can say that it is something that is really worthwhile to investigate. If you really want to stick with solid state equipment, go for the AS series Yamaha, because Yamaha is a company who builds music instruments. They build pianos, and I've noticed that if they have engineers, they have people whose ears are trained by listening to a live piano, and when they record it, replay it, they make their amplifiers in such a way that it can handle a live piano. And Yamaha also makes flutes. So these are both instruments which try solid state equipment. And I would say, like, now probably everyone is in outrage that I have a solid state amp, like 10,000 watt, whatnot, and it plays it perfectly. But I say that, okay guys, it's because you are using a system which is very safe. Using low efficiency speakers, yes. When you use a low efficiency speaker and you have enough wattage, then you do not push it too loud, just listen quietly, moderate listening levels, you can get by with an okay sound. However, when you use low sensitivity speaker, it means that you are not getting dynamic resolution. You are keeping it safe. So when you compress dynamics, then you are in a safe playing field. And I just heard it now that I just posted this video with the Michael E amp, and I changed the solder, and Emma Kirkby is singing the Monteverdi Lament of Olympia, that piece, and sings in a church, and people think that, oh, whatever, but that is one of the most demanding things to reproduce. And if you ever heard a soprano sing in a church, it's impossible energy, and that thing to recreate is a monumental task. And I can say that the Michael Yee did a much better job here now in my room than I heard any solid state amp with any speaker, even $1 million system, perform. This was much better, but it still failed, because I had to keep the volume lower and lower level, because when it was the dynamic peak, her voice was really soaring. The voice started to fall apart and breaking apart. And with the tube amps, either with my Ampex, which is 25 watt amp, or the 1 watt KT66 single-ended, they can take that test easily, and they can give you the soaring soprano without the least hint of compression. So you now can start thinking that there's something other going on in audio than watts alone, because the Michael Yee puts out 50 watts into these speakers, and that's not enough. And my single-ended amp puts out 1 watt into the high efficiency speakers, and that can easily handle it. But even if I put the Ryans, the low sensitivity speakers, to the single-ended amp, that can also handle the soaring soprano voice. So that's just something for everyone to think about, that the high energy transient is a really demanding thing in audio. So audio is not just about having like a massive sound and who can blow up the Titanic with greater force. A human voice, a single, pure, simple music, it can be really demanding and can really show the musicality of something. But other than that, if you stay with a copper cable, then that restrains the dynamics a lot more than silver, restrains high frequencies tremendously, and you will not hear your 100-watt amplifier, solid state amplifier breaking up, because it doesn't get that dynamic energy, that detail level to make it so to push it beyond its comfort zone. So you always keeping it within the comfort, but it also keeps life out of your sound. It gives emotions away from the sound. So I really recommend go for silver as soon as you can. And I'm just finding it out now that I'm experimenting with the Audionaut solder, that I really recommend using the Audionaut solver, because that makes the use of silver more palatable for your amplifiers, and it will make it much less probable to excite any negativity in your system. So if you use a standard high silver solder, then that can excite a lot of negatives that are in your system and amplify those high frequency anomalies. But the Audionaut solder doesn't do that, and I suspect that probably because it somehow subdues the ultrasonic frequencies and the really high frequencies. So all that thing that happens outside of your hearing range is not affecting the thing that you are hearing. And this is not that the effect of ultrasonic is not that I can hear it or cannot hear it. It doesn't relate to that. It relates more that if there's something nastiness going in the ultrasonic region that's going to drain your power supply, it's going to impact the frequency range below it. So it's kind of, imagine that you have a pool and you are looking for nice big waves. But if you are introducing like a really tiny waves with tremendous energy, it's eventually going to disrupt your lower frequency waves as well. And your pool, instead of having those nice big waves, wave pool, it will turn into a whirlpool, a bubble bath. So that's what we are hearing when your systems becomes harsh sounding, nasty. Then basically the sonic content, instead of nice waveforms, it turns into a bubble bath, and that a lot of that is because of bleed through from the higher harmonic region. So yes, that's another thing, is that when you try out higher quality conductors, you go for silver wire, then go for high quality solder too, because solder is going to make a tremendous difference. And if you think that you are okay of using poor quality solder, that will not help you. So I hope this was useful for everyone. So if you decide to go for silver wires, introducing silver into your system, you can expect to have a tremendous jump in transparency, tremendous jump in high frequency energy level. And you have to be prepared for that, and also you have to be prepared to accept that some of the components in your system might not be up to snuff, and they might not be comfortable with handling that much information content, that much energy level. And then just if you want to step to the next level, then you have to be ready to let go of those components that hold you back. And if you don't want to, that's fine, then return to copper cable, maybe just get a higher level of copper, experiment with solder, put in Audionaut solder, because if you just go with regular high silver solder, that's going to probably start to bring out the nasties which are hiding. The Audionaut solder is the least likely to bring out the nastiness that is hidden in your system. So thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe so others can learn. Thank you. Bye bye.